Okay, and I'm back once again. We're going to play as the ArchEnemy, just because it's a little more complex than playing against the ArchEnemy, and it's easier to show what I mean. Yeah, we'll play against him, and frame rate drop again. What is going on in the background? Be right back. Okay, I think I fixed it by shutting down a couple things. Hopefully it will, but like the last video, I might need to pause it for a second and fix something. I will do my best not to disclude you guys in any of the action. Okay, with the ArchEnemy game, whether you're playing against or as the ArchEnemy, there's several rules. One, it's a 3-on-1. You have these three players against the ArchEnemy. The ArchEnemy, to sort of offset balance, the way, is given a special deck of cards that they draw every upkeep phase, or draw phase. And they get special effects. Like this one. They're called schemes, by the way. This scheme is set into motion. Each opponent reveals his or her hand. I choose a non-land card, and those players discard the cards. This is fairly beneficial due to it being early game. I can find which creatures or which cards would be really nasty against me. Reveal top 3, put all creature cards revealed into the hand, rest in graveyard. Nature's Lore, that could be fairly bad for me, because that means he's getting out more mana faster. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Landfall. Landfall means basically the same as what it's describing. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, that's landfall. You may gain 2 life. Not all landfalls are gain life, but there are quite a few. Sorry about that. Quite a few of them. Borderland Ranger. When he enters the battlefield, you may search library for a basic land. Reveal it. See, he costs 3 to put out, so that is actually a really nasty effect for me. Griffin Guide. 2/2 and flying. That's pretty bad. Plus it brings out a token when the creature gets killed. Hyena Umbra. +1/+1 and first strike. First strike, it does exactly what its description is. It gets the first strike. Say a 1/1 versus a 1/1. The 1/1 with the first strike hits in basically I guess I'd describe it as pre-combat phase. It hits first. That's really all you need to know. It hits first. It doesn't get hit. Oops, I accidentally selected it. Oops, my bad. This one, this is a good defender. It's a 0/4. It has fire breathing, but the cost of it isn't the greatest. This one could potentially be very bad. It enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact. Yeah, it costs a lot though. The Volshock Berserker has haste. Haste is a very nasty effect because it is not affected by summoning sickness. And frame rate. Okay, there we go. Then the final one, the Earth Elemental. It costs 5 for a 4/5. That's not bad. He only has 3 land right now, so I don't have to worry about it. This is probably my biggest threat, a 3/2 with haste. So I'm going to get rid of that, just for safety. Going to play a forest. I can't do anything else at this time. So it's now their turn. They've all drawn a card. They're all playing land. He'll probably put out that 1/1 bird that I saw. Yep, It's a 1/1 flyer. So it will start taking my life down. Another thing about ArchEnemy, when they tried to offset it, you get 40 life as the ArchEnemy, or the ArchEnemy itself gets 40 life if you're playing against. You get your regular 20 life. Yeah. That sometimes is really hard to deal with. Okay, another scheme. You get one of these every time. When it's into play, put 7 0/1 green plant tokens onto the battlefield. If I control 10 or more land, put 7 3/3 green elemental tokens onto the battlefield. This is really good when it comes later in the game. Right now, it's still fairly good because it gives you 7 defenders, basically. This, the Treefolk Shaman spells, cost 1 less. I'm going to put that out as soon as possible. Because that means, let's see, he costs 2 now instead of 3. He costs 2 now instead of 3. He costs 3 now. And Reach. Reach is unique. I want to get him out next turn because of that flyer. Reach allows the creature with Reach on it, of course, to defend against flyers. And okay, I wasn't able to stop it right away, so they all played land, and the green guy just played the card to search for forest. I should have probably gotten rid of this just because it would have been easier on me, because now I'm not going to get forests, but the creature was a bit more problematic because it's a creature and it would have given out mana just for playing it, and he'd have a defender. Let's see. Grim Lavamancer. Tap it, exile 2 cards from your graveyard, and he deals 2 damage to target creature or player. That can be a pretty nasty effect. These kind of cards that deal effects where they can be used over and over against a creature to kill it, they're called Tim cards. I don't know why, but that's just the term I've come to know them by, and that's the term that I've been told. If they're called something else, okay, let me know. I like learning new things about this game. I do like Magic. I don't do tournament play, but I do like playing friendly matches. Tournament play I don't really care for, just because I can't use a lot of the cards that I make my decks out of, my libraries. Okay, you set the scheme into motion. Destroy 3 target non-land permanents. This works beautiful because there's only 3 non-land permanents. This allows me to take all 3 of them out right away, and now I'm able to just start playing cards. A player casts a non-creature spell, that player's opponent draws a card. This is actually pretty useful, because if they play an artifact, an instant, a sorcery, or any sort of enchantment card, I draw a card. Unfortunately, the same can be said for me, but however, right now I only have creatures. Okay. And yay! I believe this is my first time attacking, so I'm actually dealing damage. Yay! Yeah, wonderful. Okay, here's that landfaller. He's going to start regaining life, which could prove both beneficial and deadly to me. Okay, here's an enchantment. And because basically they're on a team, he can play that onto this creature. I drew a card because it's not a creature card. Fortunately, that's a 4/4 in the air. Okay, Molten Ravager. There's that 0/4 defender. Okay. Okay. Choose this. When you set this scheme, target opponent chooses self or others. If that player chooses self, sacks 2 creatures. Others sack a creature. And we'll go with Garrick. Okay, he actually got rid of it. And unfortunately, a 2/2 Griffin comes into play. It's flying, so we're going to play this creature. He's got reach. He's going to be able to block it and kill it. Let's see. If I remember correctly, I will be able to attack Garrick without this creature being able to block. I think that was one thing about the ArchEnemy games. I've never played a true tournament style ArchEnemy, just this game's ArchEnemy, so I don't really know all the effects. He just used an enchantment. It enchants the creature, it gets trample, and it puts 2 1/1 green sapperling creature tokens onto the battlefield. However, because it's not a creature, I draw a card, which is pretty good. Okay, Intimidate. Intimidate is another effect. Creatures with Intimidate can only be blocked by creatures that share a color with them or artifact creatures. The artifact creatures because they're not a color. Intimidate does have another name in black decks. It's called Fear. It's basically Intimidate, though. Okay, this is another wall type. It's defender, it can attack, but it does have reach. It can block flyers, and it's a 0/3. Okay. Does he attack? That's a 0/4, so I'm not going to bother blocking it. Okay. Thankfully, no artifacts are out, so its effect is wasted. But he now does have a 3/3 on the field. When you set this target opponent chooses a player. Until next turn, you and the chosen player can cast an attack with creatures. And drop to 0 frames. Wow. Be right back. Okay, one of my virus scanners started up. It found something that I had gotten rid of, so I actually had to stop and figure out what to do. But anyways, back. Gonna choose any player right now, and gonna choose the Johnny. See who he picks. He currently has 0 cards in his hand. That's something I should have explained. This indicates the cards in his hand, while this number indicates the number of cards in the library at the moment. So when he draws a card, that's going to turn to 49. Okay. Let's see. Thankfully, because of this card, these costed much less, and I was able to bring them out quite fast. Unfortunately, they've got some pretty nasty guys out there, so I won't attack. I'll play a little bit of a waiting game, probably for a little bit. Oh yeah, there's his big creature. That is definitely a worst case scenario. Because now, is it 4/5? I don't have anything that's able to block it at the moment. Okay.